Welcome back, everybody. Good to see you all again. Fire Medic Adventures 17. It's that firefighter paramedic guy. It's Matt. It's me. I am that guy. Good to see you all once again. We have some happy news today, folks. Just about 15 or 20 minutes ago, the little message icon lit up on my phone from WESH2 News, and that was that officially tomorrow, October 4th, Stardust Racers will be back in action to thrill guests once again. Also, so y'all don't think I'm clickbaiting you all, we're going to put the official press release right here and the letter to the team members from the Universal Management. We'll read along. It says, "Dear team members, as one Universal Orlando family, we continue to extend our deepest sympathy and condolences to Mr. Rodriguez-Zavala's family and loved ones for their loss. I am very grateful for the professionalism, compassion, and care our team has shown during and since this tragic event took place. As I previously indicated, our comprehensive technical and operational review confirmed the ride systems functioned properly throughout the boarding process, the duration of the ride, and upon the ride vehicle's return to the station, and our team members followed procedures throughout. Our extensive review was conducted working closely with local officials, and the state of Florida observed the testing and reviewed the results. In addition, the ride system manufacturer of record and an independent third-party roller coaster engineering expert conducted their own on-site testing and validated our findings, which the company that built this roller coaster Stardust Racers was Mock Rides. I am thankful for their participation throughout this important process. Safety, as always, is our top priority. To further assist guests in determining whether they can or cannot ride an attraction, we are updating operational procedures and attraction signage to reinforce existing ride warnings and physical eligibility requirements at Stardust Racers and other rides." There you go. This means we are prepared to reopen Stardust Racers at Universal Epic Universe on Saturday afternoon, October 4th. In the days ahead, please continue to take care of one another and know that as we continue to process this heartbreaking event, resources are always available should you need additional support. I am confident we will continue to deliver extraordinary guest experiences that will make our destination so special. Thank you for everything you do every day with care and appreciation. Karen Irwin, President and COO, Universal Orlando Resort. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Stardust Racers will reopen officially tomorrow afternoon, October 4th. I'm sure for anybody that's here on vacation or has a vacation that is scheduled soon to go to Epic, that's very good news. It doesn't look like any ride adjustments are going to be taking place, but updated signage, updated information on who can and cannot ride this, that is going to be in place before Stardust Racers opens tomorrow. Now, I'm curious to see what that sign is going to say, and I'm sure it'll be out there on the interwebs at some point. So, folks, this is great news. I'm really happy. I'm happy that this is where we got to. You know, I know there was all this speculation out there, and, you know, even for me, even I was wrong on this end of things. I thought this was going to stay closed for a while. You know, again, going off of what the ambulance chasing attorney said and all this other stuff that was going on, it sounded like this was going to be closed for a while. My fear was it was going to be closed for a very long time. And obviously myself and a lot of people didn't want this to meet the fate that the drop tower did. And so the fact that this is reopening is very, very, very good news, and it's a sign of healing and moving forward. And as always, deepest sympathies to Mr. Zavala's family. What I did not like was how this thing turned into a giant cash grab, because you had, you know, the family hiring Ben Crump, and then you had all these other people coming forward with, oh man, my neck was, oh man, Stardust Racers injured my neck, 5 months ago or whatever. That I didn't like. I don't like when that stuff happens. So knowing that Stardust Racers is going to be able to start thrilling guests once again tomorrow is fantastic news. And just like we had all suspected, the ride did function exactly as it was supposed to. And like it was mentioned in the letter, there were representatives from Mock Rides who designed and built Stardust Racers. There were other independent researchers out there. Everybody conducted their own research, and when they put everything together, it was clear that Stardust Racers is safe to ride. And yes, there will be updated signage, and there will be a lot of updates as to who can and cannot ride this. Which, that's perfect, you know? As we've said all along, it's nothing against anybody with any type of issue, but this is the world we live in. Certain people can't do certain things. That's just how the world works. The minute we try to start including everybody or making everything inclusive for everybody, we open up the possibility for disaster. And I know probably when the new signage comes out, which I'm sure it'll be up tomorrow, and if I find an update on it, believe me, we'll post it and we'll go through it. I'll do another vlog. We'll go through it. I know people probably won't like it, but, you know, if it's to keep people safe, then let's all honor what the signs say, you know? It's like me, you know, if I had a certain issue, you know, and I knew I was taking a risk, I'm not going to get on that. My health and safety comes first. And so that's it, everybody. We're gonna kind of wrap this up with a little bow on it, you know. So one more thing we're gonna do before we wrap this up and close this out. I'm gonna read a comment that I screenshotted from this morning. I was gonna respond to this, but I'm like, no, this is one of those that deserves an interaction, if you will, because it was so unbelievably just on its head absurd. But it also shows the mindset of certain people out there, and that when we start thinking this way without leaving open possibilities for other forces at play, meaning nature, physics, that this is how we get people seriously injured and or potentially killed. And before I read that, I want to thank everybody that has commented on all of the Stardust videos and some of my other videos. I know that's the one thing that this series of videos I did led people into the channel, which they've seen my other videos and they've made comments on that. And the whole last week has just been, you know, an unbelievable experience, you know, with interacting with everybody. As was mentioned in some of the comments, you know, like, it was sad that this event brought people to my channel, but on the other hand, everybody's pretty happy to kind of engage and try to figure this whole thing out. And I would say of the hundreds upon hundreds of comments, there are only maybe 4 or 5 that were just completely out there, and just some of them were just very, very absurd. But like I said, you know, it's people's freedom of expression, and even though I may not like it, people can express themselves. That's the one thing about my channel that's way different from a lot of the other theme park channels is, unless you're calling for specific violence against myself or somebody else, then I'm gonna remove you and we'll deal with it that way. But like, just because people post something that I don't agree with, or maybe they get a little snippy with something, or they try to, you know, rile everything up, hey, that's their right. Because I've seen a lot of the other theme park creators, and at the very end, they're like, now, don't you go making me delete your comment now. It's all got to be perfectly friendly and family friendly and yada, yada, yada. Shut up. Let people express themselves. You know, you can't go around silencing everybody. That's one thing that out of all of this, I didn't delete one single comment. And 99% of them were absolutely amazing to read. They were very engaging. I enjoyed reading through all the comments. I know I tried to get to most of them, but when there's that many, you know, it's very difficult to get to all of them, plus all the subsections of each comment. But thank you all very much for that. I really, really appreciate it. This one comment, though, I want to read, and why it's a perfect example of everything that's wrong with some of the thinking here in America. So the comment is from a YouTuber. They have a decent channel, you know, got some cool looking videos and that. While we read it, we'll throw it on up there. And it reads, "There is nothing wrong with a man who requires a wheelchair and has a serious spinal cord condition getting on a high-speed, high G-force roller coaster. He has the right to personal safety just like anybody else. Yes, even for pregnant women too. Universal and Disney need to provide for the 100% safety of all people on thrill rides, no matter what health condition they may have. High-speed, high G-force thrill rides should be safe and inclusive for all people, no matter what their health privileges are." That came through earlier this morning. I sat there and read that. I'm like, is this for real? Like, did somebody actually write this? Are they trying to, what are they doing? And then, of course, I went to the channel, and, you know, as they say, you can kind of tell a lot about somebody by kind of watching what they do, how they speak, and, you know, kind of who they are. And yeah, I don't think this is that far off from what this person's ideals are. So for the person that left this, let me explain something to you. Theme park industries, ride manufacturers, engineers, everybody could make rides as inclusive as they want. Hell, you could make a ride with a restraint that goes over a woman that's 9 months pregnant, for crying out loud. You could do anything you want. However, as I've mentioned in my other videos, the laws of physics and the forces of nature that are at work upon us every single day remain undefeated. And I will say that again. They remain undefeated. This is the problem with this mindset of everything being all-inclusive. When you start trying to be all-inclusive and you start being politically correct and everything, meaning we got to include everybody, can't leave anybody out, and they start making modifications, they start making changes, the result is what sadly happened on Stardust Racers and the Drop Tower ride and many other incidents around the world. One was at, I think it was Six Flags Over Texas, similar situation. So my friend, you are entitled to your own opinion, but when you work in the emergency services and you see things every day, a comment like that is almost, it just makes you want to pull a Grandpa Simpson and go scream at the clouds, because people just, they think that the world is this friendly place, that absolutely nothing can go wrong, and that we can make everything perfectly inclusive and friendly for everybody, and those forces of nature and physics and everything like that, that doesn't matter. You know, when the force of gravity shows up or the G-forces show up on a roller coaster, I guess you'll just have to yell at the top of your lungs, "This is an all-inclusive roller coaster, by God. You take your G-force ass and you too, physics. Y'all go on, go out of here. There ain't no place for you here. This is an all-inclusive ride." Come on, man. Seriously. I had to say something, folks. Like that, just, especially when this commenter threw in, and pregnant women. Yes, pregnant women. Pregnant women would do great on Stardust Racers. You imagine that? Do the belly lift, put that lap bar down, and pregnant woman's stomach right there on top of that lap bar. Beautiful, man. It worked great. Worked absolutely great. I'm sure that unborn child's going to love that ride. What is the matter with you, man? Stop. But the thing is these people think they're in the right. They really do. They think that everything can just be made to accommodate the entire world. And, you know, I don't mean to rant or anything, ladies and gents, but out of all the comments, that one like struck a chord, because it's like you're just going to ignore physics. You're going to ignore reality. We're going to make restraints that can handle a pregnant woman that goes upside down 7 or 8 times. We're going to basically let people have every single medical condition, serious or minor, they're going to be able to ride, because you know what? Physics and the laws of gravity and the forces of nature just don't apply to this amusement park. We put a barrier around the park so none of that can get in. And the thing is, you can't talk sense to these people either. Like I would love to sit down with this individual and debate them one-on-one on a live stream. How many would love to see that? I would love to do that. Face to face, on camera, live stream debate. You bring your evidence, I will bring mine, and let's go get it. That's everything, folks. I want to thank you all very much for watching over the last week. I want to thank you for your engagement on the channel. I want to thank you for all your subscriptions that came through. I want to thank you for all the comments. I want to thank you for the kind words. Everybody, you are awesome. You know, sadly, like people have written in the comment section, it's sad that it takes this to kind of bring a community together a little bit, but I think it brought everybody together because people were just so far in the dark. People were looking for any type of answers. And that's why I thought to do that very first video. I'm like, I think there's way more to this. And so I thought, well, let's just make a video and see what the response is to it. And I had no idea it would do that well. And then the following videos also did very well. And people just have a natural curiosity. And when, something happens like this, people want to know, hey, what the heck happened? Is there something that we need to worry about? Does the ride need change? Do we need to change around who can ride this thing? What do we do? And what happened? And how do we prevent it from happening again? So thank you all very much once again. And as I said, this will be the last Stardust Racers video of this whole series. So that's it, ladies and gents. Moving forward, somebody in one of the comments had an idea, and I think it would be good to do a video on this, and that is the Orlando drop tower accident. We've only heard from really one side, and the end result was they tore the thing down. But why did this happen? They keep saying that he fell from the ride, which that's what happened. But where did he come out of the ride at? That's another big key. There's all kinds of small inner workings that go in with that. And then also, once again, throwing some math and physics and gravity and everything at play here. Plus, the way the ride actually worked. It was a very unique drop tower. So for anybody that's interested, I think we're going to do one on that. And again, not to be morbid, but I think it's really interesting when you start breaking this stuff down and giving everybody a different way to look at things, And then after that, we're going to start moving forward into other things. And all of you that came along for this journey, I hope you stick around because I've got a lot of good things to bring to you. And the video I just uploaded about, can moving to the Orlando theme park district, if you will, can it cure depression? Give that one a look. I think you might really like that one. There's some really good points in there. There's a description of my own personal journey, having been through severe depression, anxiety, PTSD, and having made a full recovery from that, how I used that as a tool. It wasn't my sole escape. That was just simply a tool I used to help get better. And if you give that one a watch, I think you're really going to like that, especially compared to some of the other ones that are out there. People, asking if this can be done. Well, everybody, I will see you on the next one. Once again, thanks for everything. Appreciate all the comments, all the likes, and I hope you stick around. I got a lot to bring you folks. This channel is only just beginning. Have a fantastic Friday. Have a fantastic weekend if you're a college football or NFL fan or both. Hope your teams win tomorrow. The Yankees moved on last night against the Red Sox. Heck yeah. So I'll see you again soon, everybody. Take care. See ya.